Am I the asshole for not letting my husband sit with us during girls' night in? My husband, 35, is disabled. He's in a wheelchair and is home 24/7. Because he needs me around to assist him, I'd have him in his chair nearby while I do laundry or cook or clean. He's with me most of the time except for when I go to the bathroom, but even then he'd complain about me being away for so long. I don't even go shopping, everything gets delivered to our home. I haven't seen my girlfriends for a while and have arranged to start having girl night-ins at my place since I can't be away from home, especially at night. I asked my husband for some P2VC when my friends come and he took it badly, took it as in I was annoyed and bothered by him, but I assured him it wasn't like that. He said if it's true then I'd let him sit with us during girls' night in. I absolutely refused and tried explaining that my friends and I need privacy and this is the only time we spend together. I also explained that having him sit with us would ruin the purpose of girls' night in. He threw a hissy fit and called me selfish and rude for refusing. He started giving me the cold shoulder, saying until I agree to include him, he will not be speaking to me. Am I the asshole for choosing this hill to die on according to him? More context. I haven't gone out in a while, haven't seen my friends or even family in a while because he wouldn't go with me and also refuses to stay home with someone else to look after him. He even wouldn't let me be out of sight for more than few minutes. I sometimes have to bring him near the bathroom so he could wait for me with the door open if I'm taking more time. He isn't sociable by nature, so he doesn't have friends. The only two friends he had showed their true color after he became disabled and put a distance. About the girls' night in issue. He said he would not let my friends in if I continue to exclude him, which caused a major argument between us. Not the asshole. He's using his disability to guilt trip you into having no friends or time for yourself. It is unbelievably creepy and wrong. He complains about you having bathroom breaks. He is toxic and controlling. I completely agree with this. Original poster. It sounds like he's trying to isolate you from your support system. Please don't let him. Stick to your guns on this. Agreed. This needs to be addressed or even some sort of therapy. He's either intentionally doing this, big red flag, or has some codependency, somewhat understandable. Even the latter. He should understand people need other people for support. He's putting everything on original poster to the point he needs to literally be around her 24/7. 24/7 care doesn't mean she's attached at the hip, but that's she available for his needs. Her getting her needs met may not involve him and he needs to understand, respect that. Like having to sit outside the bathroom door with the door open is Looney Tunes regardless if he's disabled or not. And after she's doing so much for him, he's calling her selfish. What a guy. He's calling her selfish because he needs her to feel guilty in order for her to comply. It's classic manipulative behavior. It may be unintentional and fear-driven, but it's abuse nonetheless. Original poster's husband needs to address this in therapy real fast, or original poster needs to get out of this relationship. I feel for the husband because being wheelchair-bound after an accident sounds terrifying, but his behavior is absolutely unacceptable and this situation is unsustainable. This isn't life, and original poster deserves to live. He is isolating and punishing you. Let him know you will be setting boundaries if this behavior continues. Either he seeks therapy to deal with his new reality or he risks losing you. He doesn't need you 24/7. I would go further and say the girls' night in will be a girls' night out. Not the asshole, but he is. Isolating and punishing someone for having their own life is abusive behavior. I know the husband is disabled, but I think original poster is in an abusive or at least toxic marriage. I agree. The disability is masking the abuse and controlling behavior. Not being able to go to the bathroom alone is alarming. I wonder where their families are. Not the asshole. This is abuse. You would be well within your rights to leave this relationship. The bathroom thing alone is completely abnormal. He won't let you do things. It's not up to him. I totally agree. He needs to be with her when she's peeing? Hell no, she needs her own space to be able to function. He's demanding way too much. He has totally turned up into his caregiver. This goes way beyond being his caregiver. Caregivers get breaks. They get to shower and pee in peace. Not the asshole, and I can't believe no one mentioned marinara flags yet. This is abuse. He is isolating you from family, friends, social life, how are finances? Does he rely on you or you on some benefit he has? Do you work? Why can't be left alone? If you think this isn't the case, he needs therapy and help. Or maybe you also need it. This is not healthy nor normal. I was about to post something similar. This absolutely abuse. Disabled people can be abusive just like a non-disabled person. sometimes more abusive, using their negative ailments and disabilities to gather guilt and sympathy. In regards to having to watch you in the bathroom, you could raise the location of the door handles so that he can't open the door. He won't let you go out. He won't let you see friends. He won't let you go to the bathroom alone. He won't let you out of his sight for even a few minutes. He won't let talk to you until you cave. He won't let your friends come into your house. And #X200B. Not the asshole, but being disabled is not an excuse to be abusive. Which he is. No wonder he has no friends. He won't even go out with her. Which means, he has the option to go out. Even if he doesn't want to, he's not even willing to compromise. Husband is an asshole. Original poster's gonna get enough and divorce his ass. Just hope she doesn't feel guilty, cause she owes him nothing. I can answer as a disabled person who is mostly housebound, uses a wheelchair and is heavily dependent on my person to assist. Your husband needs therapy. That isn't healthy mentally. This isn't a safe dynamic. If he weren't disabled, there would be no doubt that this is 100% abusive and controlling behavior. It's fantastic that you're there to support and help him, but everyone, even you, deserves to have personal space and time to do things alone. It's healthy in any relationship for each person in a couple to have an occasional activity that doesn't include the other. He's weaponized his disability to control you. So this is a symptom of either him struggling with adapting to the disability, or it's his underlying nature coming out. Either way, you need outside help. He needs outside help. If he's truly unable to be alone for any period of time, I mean in terms of basic care, not emotionally, then you need to investigate hiring help. Even if it's just a half day once a week, you need to have a carer or nurse who can take over while you get some me time. It is 100% reasonable for you to spend an evening with friends without your husband, and you already comprised to accommodate him by making it a girls' night in. Not the asshole. Greater than if he weren't disabled, there would be no doubt that this is 100% abusive and controlling behavior. Still is abusive and controlling, even with the disability. Quite so. I merely said that to highlight the point. Without the disability it wouldn't be a question. Sometimes we benefit from the thought experiment of changing the roles. Not the asshole, and sweetheart, you need respite care. You cannot be alone together forever. You need to get out of the house and see other people, and so does he, no matter how unsocial he is. And you both need privacy from each other. It is rough and traumatic adjusting to an acquired disability, but your husband is doing it all wrong. He's so twisted up in grief and loss of control that he's turned in on himself and is both lashing out at the world and controlling the only thing he can, you. And that's not healthy for either of you. He does not get a pass on abuse, coercive control just because he's in a wheelchair. Ultimately, if you cannot get this marriage back on a mentally healthy footing, you will need to leave and get yourself to safety. And if you feel he's getting violent, please leave immediately. But if you think his attitude is still fixable, then reach out to family. Reach out to a local disability charity. Find out what social care options, funds for home independence adaptations you qualify for. Find out whether there's things like adapted cars that he can relearn to drive. Get him mental health care to ease the transition from able-bodied to disabled. If he has PTSD or depression, get it addressed. Work out if he really needs 24/7 nursing care or if his problem is figuring out accessibility. And for goodness sake, reclaim your privacy in the bathroom. For actually providing original poster with possible resources for this nightmare she is living. Not the asshole, your husband is being ridiculous and abusive. Being disabled is not an excuse to be so controlling and treat your spouse like a slave. He needs to accept that as a human you require time to yourself or time with other people and allow another caregiver to step in occasionally. Otherwise, I would leave him, frankly. It is not sustainable for you to never be permitted to leave the house. It is so unbelievably common for newly disabled people who slip into depression to turn that into abusive, guilt-tripping behavior. You have to leave him. This behavior is super abusive and controlling and it will not get better. It will be hard. He will accuse you of not caring. He will try to turn family against you. The same family, by the way, that will not lift a finger to help but will happily call you horrible for walking away from a sick man. He will rage and rant. But this is not normal and it is not acceptable. Don't let yourself think that it is. Disabled people can live alone, with occasional help coming in. He does not need you every minute of every day. He has lost control in his own life, so he is controlling the one thing he can, you. Please don't give your life up for this horrible sad existence because your husband won't get help. Run fast, run far. Not the asshole, every caretaker needs and deserves respite. Burnout is a real problem, especially for those caring for loved ones. He is the selfish and controlling one. He can give you privacy for a few hours, or better yet, have someone else sit with him. Honestly, it sounds like he's trying to purposefully isolate her from her friends and to an extent, even herself if she's not even allowed to take a dump in peace. The codependency is insane and very sad. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Then she'll only have to be with him non-stop whether she wants to or not because he pushed everyone away for them both and she has no choice. Sad for original poster. She deserves some privacy and to be social with friends. When you go to the bathroom, he complains that you're gone so long. He's a complainer. Complaining is what he does. If he stops speaking to you, he won't be complaining. I'd say give it a shot. Not the asshole. He'll probably actually give her a bit of space too. No downsides to this plan. Not the asshole. Disability isn't an excuse to rob a life from you. I understand that he's disabled, but how severely that he needs you even when you're shitting. Unless you're pumping his heart with your bare hand, this doesn't make sense. This isn't living at all. Even manual heart pumpers switch out like, no one person can hold your entire life in their hands at once. It isn't sustainable for either party. We've got to tap in and out for each other. Not the asshole. It's not healthy for couples not to have friends of their own. Particularly as you are a 24/7 carer and have to do so much for him. You aren't an asshole for needing a break. It means you're human. Your husband is very well capable of being on his own, doesn't need constant supervision, and you just assist him with certain physical things because he's in a wheelchair, right? If so, not the asshole. He has serious problems that need addressing. You can't even go to the bathroom without him complaining? That is absolutely too much. You need privacy and time apart from yourself, just like everyone else. Not the asshole, not even a little bit. He is using his disability to control, manipulate and isolate you. It actually sounds abusive. What a horrible life for you. Divorce gets thrown around a lot here, but I would run like the wind if I were you. Not the asshole. It sounds like some serious codependency on his part. The thing is that you're not just husband and wife, you're his full-time carer and have no space or time to yourself. Carer burnout is a real thing and it's important that you get time to switch off and do other things. I would call it abuse, not codependency. Not the asshole. He sounds like he is using his disability to control you. If he really has this need to be around you all the time, he needs therapy. You are entitled to time off and to privacy, not to mention your own support in dealing with being, what sound like, a full-time carer for your husband. Not the asshole. You should have scheduled ME time, always. Put it on the calendar. Let him know the caretaker is there to assist him as necessary. Leave the house. Do not answer the phone. The caregiver can call you if it is an emergency. You need this time for your own mental health before you burn out. You should not be your husband's sole entertainment and support. He needs to have his own quiet time, hobby, read, TV, games, whatever, but it should not be you 24/7. He needs to know that others are capable of taking care of him. Should you have an emergency and need to leave, hospital, family emergency, then he should be familiar with some caregivers. You are entitled to mental health days, spa days, do nothing days. Everyone who works, you are working, is entitled to time off. He is a grown man. He can deal with it or he won't, that is up to him. Let him give you the cold shoulder. How mature. Use that against him. Well, since I see I can't entertain in my own home, I will start arranging someone to be here with you while I go out with my friends. Not the asshole. He's using his disability to manipulate you and you allow it. Drag his happy ass to therapy so he can get over this dependency and you can start leading semi-normal lives. He would have left you long ago if the roles were reversed. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, but oh boy, original poster, you've got way more going on here than an issue with your girls' night in.